Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for coming out on a wet and miserable night. Well, by way of explanation as to my place of origin, I'll start off with this song that should explain a bit. Song by a very good friend of mine by the name of Vin Garbett, who's not been very well. So we'll do this for Vin and send him the good vibes to get better. And it's from the northeast of England, which is where I come from. And there's 3 rivers that flow through the land there. There's the River Tyne that flows through Newcastle, and the River Wear that flows through the city of Durham, and the River Tees that flows through Middlesbrough. And this song is the Land of 3 Rivers. Well, my name is John North, from the south of the Forth. In the land of 3 rivers I dwell. In the steelworks and pits I work hard with me mates. Not a bad word against them I'll tell. Why, they're a great bunch of lads, and I'll tell you for why. If they thought it would help you, they'd jump in the Tyne. In the land of 3 rivers I'm longing to be, where the Tyne, Wear and Tees meet the North Rolling Sea. From Carlisle to Dover, from Bristol to Hull, and every town in between, I am known in them all for my accent and goal, and my friendship, the pauper and queen. When loneliness takes you and dampens your song, if you meet up with John North, you'll not go far wrong. In the land of 3 rivers I'm longing to be, where the Tyne, Wear and Tees meet the North Rolling Sea. In centuries gone, our ancestral home was a prey to the Romans and Danes. Aye, but Hadrian knew, and Odin did too, that the northeast is no place for games. They tried to enslave us, but all efforts failed. The strength of St. and Hilda prevailed. The 3 rivers came to be, where the Tyne, Wear and Tees meet the North Rolling Sea. I work hard, I play hard as I toil, and I drink the best ale in the land. My roots nestle deep in Northumbrian soil, and my branches akin outstretched hands. When loneliness takes you and dampens your song, if you meet up with John North, you'll not go far wrong. In the land of 3 rivers I'm longing to be, where the Tyne, Wear and Tees meet the North Rolling Sea. In the land of 3 rivers I'm longing to be, where the Tyne, Wear and Tees meet the North Rolling Sea. Thanks very much, the land of 3 rivers. I've been a folk musician since I was 15, so I've been doing it for well over 5 years. And one of the things that got me into folk music in the first instance was the storytelling, because, you know, I'm a sucker for songs that say, baby, 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 I love you, and stuff like that, but you get a bit sick of them after a while. And you never get sick of the stories that they tell in folk music, because they've got loads of exciting things that happen in them. Like in this one, where there's transmogrification occurs, and people like are turning into things, and sometimes they turn into animals, and sometimes they turn into stones and wood and rocks and things. But in this case, something else happens, and the song's a little bit of a warning to those of you who might have come on foot tonight and are considering taking a shortcut when you go home afterwards, because you've got to be very careful about what shortcuts you choose, because some of them can lead to very dangerous situations. This is a song that talks about that kind of thing. It's called The Ballad of Cursed Anna, and it comes from Wales. Walking homeward in the early morning light, leaving far behind the prison where I'd spent the night, with no idea of what I'd done or why they'd punished me, but feeling nonetheless relieved and grateful to be free. My path led to a woodland far behind a rusted gate. I knew it was a shortcut if I kept my walking straight. Then, like out of nowhere, this old wizened man appeared, holding high his one hand while the other stroked his beard. Beware the cursed Anna stare, this warning did he bring. No one makes it through this wood, coming out as they went in. But a change is what I'm looking for, I told the sad old man, bidding him a last farewell. Into the woods I ran. Soon I came to a river where I stopped to bathe my feet, and that is when I smelt her perfume, delicate and sweet. I got up and I turned around, and there in front of me stood a beautiful young woman who simply stared at me. Then I knew it was all true what the old man had advised. You must be Anna, I said as I looked into her eyes. Beware the cursed Anna stare, this warning did he bring. No one makes it through this wood, coming out as they went in. Fell together in a passionate embrace. I felt my pulse it quickened as my heart began to race. And when at last the kissing stopped, I saw to my alarm this woman had now turned into a young girl in my arms. I heard her childish laughter, saw her vanish through the trees. I went down to the river, my reflection for to see. Down there in the water I saw exactly as I feared. To my horror I turned into an old man with a beard. Beware the cursed Anna stare, this warning did he bring. No one makes it through this wood, coming out as they went in. Long years I've waited by this gate, wishing I could die. But that can only happen if some other young man comes by. First I know I must warn him to go some other way, but hope like most men of that age, he won't believe what old men say. To beware the cursed Anna stare, this warning did he bring. No one makes it through this road coming out as they went in. Beware the cursed Anastair, this warning do I bring. No one makes it through this wood coming out as they went in. Thank you very much, the Ballad of Cursed Anna. Here's a song from Scotland, which is quite unusual because it's a folk song from Scotland in which nobody dies. We're usually pretty saturated in blood and gore by verse 3, but in this case, this is a Scottish love ballad. But because it's Scottish, it's got a bit of a twist to it. It's a song about a farmer who's got a very beautiful young wife, and he's an old wrinkly bloke. So of course his wife's love interest lies elsewhere with a young man she's trying to bring onto the farm to do the manual labour, let's say. The farmer, being old and daft, is a bit oblivious to all of this. He wakes up one morning and he looks out of his window and there's his wife rolling around in the cornfield with a young man. So he's really worried about this because he's concerned that they might be damaging his crops. This is the barley and the rye. It's of an old country farmer living in the West Country, and he had the prettiest little wife that you ever did see. And a young man came a-courting her when the old man wasn't nigh, and many a time he'd take a tumble among the barley and the rye. When the old man woke up in the morning, he would find himself all alone. He'd look out of the window, spied his wife in the corn, and a young man lay beside her, which caused the old man to cry. Oh wife, I wonder at you for the spoiling of my rye. Oh husband, she cried, oh husband, it's the like I've never done before. And if you've got one friend, me love, I've another one in store. For a friend, love, will not deceive you if you will him employ. He'll have money enough, love, to pay you for your barley and your rye. It's of an old country farmer living in the West Country, and he had the prettiest little wife that you ever did see. And a young man came a-courting her when the old man wasn't nigh, and many a time he'd take a tumble among the barley and the rye. Many a time he'd take a tumble among the barley and the rye. Many a time he'd take a tumble among the barley and the rye. Thanks very much, the barley and the rye. I don't know what the weather's been like down here, but it's been really dry in Vancouver, which is dead unusual for November. But the monsoon has started again, I see, so the guitar's not liking it much because they don't mind hot weather or cold weather or damp weather or dry weather, but they really hate it when it changes a lot. Close enough for folk music, anyway. I'll do a Richard Thompson song for you. For those of you who may not know, Richard Thompson's an English singer-songwriter who started his career with a band called Fairport Convention, who pretty much single-handedly invented folk rock. And he's gone on to write tons and tons and tons of great songs. This is one of his lesser-known songs from an album called Henry the Human Fly, which has the record with Polydor Records for the least records ever sold. So naturally I would gravitate towards that one. And this is a song he wrote after a trip to the Irish city of Belfast during what they euphemistically refer to as the Troubles. And some observations he had to make. And the title of the song is How Will I Ever Be Simple Again? Well, she danced in the streets with the guns all around her, all torn like a rag doll, barefoot in the rain. And she sang like a child to her dear, to her daddy. Oh, how will I ever be simple again? She sat by the banks of a dirty grey river and tried for a fish with a worm on a pin. There was nothing but fever and ghosts in the water. Oh, how will I ever be simple again? War was my love and my friend and companion, and what did I care for the pretty and plain? But a smile was so clear and my heart was so troubled. Oh, how will I ever be simple again? In a poor burnt-out house, I sat at the table. The smell of her hair was like the cornfields in May. And I wanted to weep, and my eyes ached from trying. Oh, how will I ever be simple again? So gracious she was as she moved through the ruins, and happy she was in her dances and games. Oh, teach me to see with your innocent eyes, love. Oh, how will I ever be simple again? Oh, how will I ever be simple again? Oh, how will I ever be simple again? How will I ever be simple again? The next song comes from the southwest of England, from Yeovil, which is in Somerset, down in the cider country, And you can tell it's cider country because when you go into the pubs, there's no varnish on any of the tables. And that's because the scrumpy, which is the raw cider they sell down there, when you spill it on the tables, it just lifts the varnish clear off, so God knows what it's doing to your innards. This is a funny little song about a love tryst between a cobbler, a butcher, and a butcher's wife. Elliot's over there doing like samurai work. It's fantastic. In the manner of a French farce with lots of double entendre, which is French for double entendre. The Cobbler and the Butcher. This is just a little story, but the truth I'm going to tell, all about a cunning cobbler who in Yeovil town did dwell, and a jolly butcher with a beautiful wife. The cobbler loved her dearly, just as dearly as his life. One day the butcher went to market to buy himself an ox, and then the cunning cobbler, as sly as any fox, he put on his Sunday coat to court, and he did go off to see the butcher's wife because he loved her so. And when the cobbler came into the butcher's shop, the butcher's wife knew what he meant, and she asked him for a stop. Oh, she said, me darling, have you got a job for me? The butcher's wife's so saucy, says I'll go upstairs and see. So the butcher's wife went up the stairs and she gave the snob a call. I have got an easy job for you if you have brought your all, and if you do it workmanlike, some cash to you I'll pay. Why, thank you, says the cobbler, and he began to stitch away. Folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day. But when the cobbler was at work, a knock come on the door. The cobbler scrambled under the bed and he hid upon the floor. Oh, he said, me darling, what will your husband say? But then she let the policeman in along with her to play. The cobbler lay there trembling, far too terrified to move. The policeman says, me dear, oh me darling, oh me love. The cobbler, he was thinking, oh how he loves his wife. He thought the owl bed might collapse and take away his life. But then the butcher come from market in the middle of the night. A policeman, he jumped out the bed and he soon got out of sight. The butcher's wife so nimbly, she up and locked the door, and tried forgot about the cobbler lying on the floor. Folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day. And then the butcher threw the truncheon underneath the bed, and there it smashed the piddle pot and it cracked the cobbler's head. The cobbler cried out mercy, says the butcher, who are you? Oh, I am a little cobbler who goes mending lady shoes. Well, if you are the cobbler, then come along with me. I must pay you for your mending before I set you free. He locked him in the bullpen and the bull began to roar. The butcher laughed to see him as he rolled him over and over. And then early in the morning, just as people were about, the butcher speared his face with blood and then he turned him out. He pinned a note upon his back and on it was the news: this cobbler to the bedroom goes to mend the lady's shoes. The people all were laughing just to see the cobbler run. His coat and breeches were so torn you could clearly see his bum. He ran home into his wife, she up and locked the door. That'll teach you not to go out mending anymore. Folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day, folder all the dido, folder all the day. Cobbler and the Butcher. Thanks very much. It's a song called The $1,000 Ring. It tells the story of an unexpected meeting. Taking place between the city of Vancouver and the small seaside town in the northeast of England called Whitley Bay. This is a semi-autobiographical song, inasmuch as it starts with an unwanted pregnancy. Once when she was young and fair and in the mobile seat, she met a man she did not know, and they made love so sweet. And all at once the morning sickness told her it was true. She was with child, she found him out, there was nothing else to do. Oh, once when he was young and harsh and in the mobile seat, he gave her $1,000 ring and walked it down the street. Ah, this will pay for our mistake to be clinically erased. And then he kissed her on the cheek and he turned and he ran away. She kept the ring and had the child, like him her fortune grew. But when the boy reached 21, she knew what she must do. She brought the $1,000 ring and placed it in his hand. Just before he went away, they sailed to foreign lands. This ring is your inheritance, I got it shining new. It's the $1,000 ring your father gave to you. He wore it every day and night as he travelled far away. Tonight the boy walked into a bar in far off Whitley Bay. As he drank like sailors do, a man came up to him, and as they got to talking, then he pointed to the ring. That's a canny piece of jewellery for a boy who sails the sea. That's the $1,000 ring me father gave to me. Well, pray tell me mother's name. Her name is Mary White. Which was the colour that he turned as if he'd had a fright. That cannot be, where are you from? I'm from Vancouver town. And then he scrambled for his glass and he drank his whiskey down. He coughed and then he spluttered, then he said he'd have to go. I felt a strange sensation, what it was I did not know. And then to my complete surprise he said, I never knew that you'd have your father's roving eyes, those eyes of baby blue. You can get yourself into trouble, but you can't buy your way out. You can sweep it under the carpet, but the truth it will come out. And now I thank me lucky stars, me mother saved the fee. She kept the $1,000 ring me father gave to me. She kept the $1,000 ring me father gave to me. Thanks very much. The $1,000 ring. I'll play a song by another mate of mine. This time is a song by a lad called Jeslo, who I grew up playing music with. I was on a train in Europe and listening to my iPod, and this song randomly popped up, and I thought, wow, I'd heard it before, but I'd never really sat and listened to it as intently, and I ended up listening to it several times and learning the words on the train journey, and then working on it when I got back home. So, an interesting song because it explores a word that we use a lot where I come from, the word sod, which can mean many things. It can mean a person who gets on your nerves, it can mean a piece of earth. It's a way of saying you have nothing if you say you have sod all. And this is the title of the song. It's called Sod All, and it tells the story of a single parent at the end of their rope, and carries with it a warning to all of those of you who may have ever had an amorous interest in a folk musician. It's a very, very bad idea. Martin, his dad, made a tune for the lad to soothe the young fella to sleep. It came to him out of the blue and the stout in a bar far away in the week. John Shandy says, God, sure it reeks of the sod, that old sod of Sligo or Clare. And he talked about fathers and Spanish armadas. Has that boy of yours got your black hair? And Martin said, you've got me there. Mary, his mother, at the end of her tether, said lullabies don't mean a thing to you. There were times when Imagine or Stand By Your Man would knock you out soon as I'd sing to you. Now you've nothing but scorn for my bonny at morn. I might as well whistle a jig. I've sung you from ABBA to bloody Lloyd Webber, and you're still squealing like a stuck pig. The stronger the sod, the deeper you dig. Sod all their tongues with their rights and their wrongs. Sod all their speeches of unmarried leeches. There's sod all in handouts of welfare state pay. And you've been a right little sod all day. Your father will never be daddy to you, and never whatever to me. Maybe one day you will follow his way, seduced by the diddly-dee. The dark was his light, just like yours is tonight. His music, it wooed me and licked me. It stuck to the bone, just like moss to a stone. But he rolled away soon as you kicked me. Ah, the charm of his blarney sure tricked me. Sod all their tongues with their rights and their wrongs. Sod all their speeches of unmarried leeches. There's sod all in handouts of welfare state pay. And you've been a right little sod all day. Sod all their tongues with their rights and their wrongs. Sod all their speeches of unmarried leeches. Sod all in handouts of welfare state pay. And you've been a right little sod all day. Thanks very much, that's sod all. I think I've got time for one more in this set, and then I'll have a little break and I'll come back and do another one. I did sneak some CDs over the border in my underpants, which of course adds value where I come from. I've got a few CDs over there. I've got some download cards for those of you who want to remain untroubled by material objects. But you don't have to buy anything if you don't want. I'm not bothered. I'm loaded anyway. I'm just doing this for kicks. And I've also got some business cards if you just want to go and check out my website. And there's lots of free music and pictures of me doing my other entertainment thing that I do, which is fire eating. So some fantastic photographs of me fire eating on my website. So, you know, fun for all the family. And I think there's a tip jar there as well, which is designed for your financial contributions. So if you feel motivated to, you know, contribute to the Get Tim Readman a Decent Haircut Fund, your contributions would be appreciated. Stick around for the second half. I'm going to be playing the cardboard guitar, which I brought along. We'll be doing a number of Prince covers on that. Probably Purple Rain. And a few others. But we'll finish off with this song. Everybody in life has to have some kind of spiritual outlet, I think, and for some people it's, you know, religion, and some people it's meditation and yoga and all that kind of thing. For me it's soccer. And my church that I worship at is the Church of Newcastle United. And those of you who might know a little bit about British football will know that every team has its own song. And if you go to Liverpool, they sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." And if you go to Glasgow Celtic, they sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." And there's a few other songs kicking about. If you go to the East End of London, West Ham United, they'll sing "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles." Why, we have no idea. But if you go to Newcastle, which undoubtedly has the best song of all, we sing this one, particularly when we're winning, which we are at the moment. This song was written in 1863 by a coal miner by the name of Geordie Armstrong, one of the pitmen poets for which the region is famous. And these were working men who went down to the coal mines to earn their living, but supplemented their income by writing topical songs for the local music hall. In this case, Bambora's Music Hall in the Big Market in the centre of Newcastle upon Tyne, which is still there to this day. And this song celebrates a horse race that took place in the small town of Bladen-on-Tyne, which is across the other side of the River Tyne from Newcastle. And it mentions a few characters who were very famous around the 1800s. So people often ask me if I do any material from the 60s, and I say I certainly do. This one's from the 1860s. went to Bladen races, it was on the 9th of June 1862 on a summer's afternoon. We took the bus from Bamburgh's and she was heavy laden. Away we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us ganning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, ganning along the Scotsford Road to see the Bladen races. Well, we flew past Thompson's factory and onto the Robin Adair, and when we got to the railway bridge, the bus wheel flew off there. The lasses was the crinolines and the veils that hide their faces, got two black eyes and a broken nose, got at the Bladen races. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us cannon, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, cannon along the Scotsford Road to see the Bladen races. Aye, and when we got the wheel put on, away we went again. And them that had their noses broke, they went back our yam. Some went to the dispensary and others to Dr. Gibbs. Some went to the infirmary to mend their broken ribs. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us gammon, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, ganning along the Scotsford Road to see the Bladen races. And when we got at the Paradise pub, then bunny games began. It was 4 and 20 on the bus, man, how we danced and sung. They called on me to sing a song and I sang them Paddy Fagan. I danced a jig and I shook my twig the day we went to Bladen. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us cannon, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, cannon along the Scotsford Road to see the Bladen races. And then we flew across the chain bridge right into Bladen Toon. The bellman he was calling there, they call him Jackie Broon. I saw him talking to some chaps and then he was persuading to go and see Geordie Ridley at the Mechanics' Hall at Bladen. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us coming, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, coming along the Scotsford Road to see the Bladen races. Now the rain had poured all day and night and it made the ground quite muddy. Coffee Johnny had a white hat on, he was sure we stole the cuddy. There was spice stalls and monkey stalls and old women selling ciders, and a chap at the happily roundabout singing now me lads for riders. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us ganning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, ganning along the Scotsford Road to see the Bladen races. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us ganning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, ganning along the Scotsford Road to see the Bladen races. Away the lads! Thanks very much. We'll have a wee break and then we'll see you in a little bit.
I'll travel this land like a canvas until I'm out of pain. I've worn out my welcome, so I'll leave before the dawn. There's one thing this country taught me, it's to leave before you're gone. Of the ones I've left, I've mourned many. Of the ones I've mourned, I called to. They'd always know I'd break their hearts before they broke my blues. I'm a woman of many virtues, if you'd only let me grow. But my spirit's been broken in so many ways. My seed you must learn to sow. I know this town like I built it. I know which roads will lead to where. And I'll stay and visit as long as these roads know how to take me somewhere. Of the places I've been, I've kept many in mind, and I've dreamed them all the same. Of the ones I've dreamed, there's only one place that gave me my name. I'm a woman of many stories. If you listen, I'll tell you one. I've called many places my home, little darling, but I only come from one. Night on that church's porch, I swear I heard you laugh like you did when we first met. Tried to catch your eye, but you're too damn stubborn now to let me. 500 nights spent by your side, and I could have spent 500 more. But this lonely minded needs sometimes lonely dreams need something to work towards. Talk about the past, wishing that